This is the newest, most exciting entertainment show in town.
Talk about authentic and real conversations,
Fun and educative segments,
trending topics,
celebrity checks,
books and authors,
Q&A. Join me, LAVIN NYAGOWA and Hazel Njeru every Tuesdays and Saturdays from 3 to 4 p.m. only on The Unfiltered. Get informed on what is happening in our political scenes and people who are making headlines in different parts of the country and the world right here at TAS TV. Join me, LAVIN NYAGOWA, as I bring to you weekly news highlights that are factual every Friday at 4 o'clock. See you then.
Katika kipindi tunakuletea wasanii.
What's up my guys? I go by the name Rainams.
Eti nikipita kwa macho na nipimia, na kama sina pesa unguwezi nipimia. Hapa Shenster the Poet manze.
Ngoma moto moto.
If you wanna show some love, I don't fake it. Hey, da kumenya mawa no maku. Nani anedera shire. Oh, rutani waku.
Vichekesho mkisongaza, mahojiano moto moto, stori za wasanii pamoja na talanta za wasanii.
Fiki wa kasi gani kama wapatikani wakati wa shida.
Na pia kwenye kipindi utabambika, utajijenga, utaelimika, utakuza talanta yako.
My name is Rebecca Mutie. I'm a model and I'm Afri Kenya. I'm a student. Napenda kusikiza kipindi cha Bonga na Katoni kila Jumatatu kuanzia saa 9 mpaka saa 10.
Kumbuka ni kwenye Bonga na Katoni ndani ya TAS TV kuanzia saa 9 hadi saa 10 kila siku ya Jumatatu.
This is Bonga na Katoni in TAS TV. Karibuni.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on that particular time that you get to watch us. Karibuni sana to another episode of Reality Check. And on this amazing episode, we're going to discuss the stigma surrounding mental health and how can we exactly deal with this. With me in studio, I have an amazing guest who's going to be taking us through that entire topic. And remember to follow TAS TV across all social media platforms. That is at TAS TV_KE on Instagram, Twitter and TikTok, TAS TV on Facebook, TAS TV official on YouTube, and www.tastv.co.ke on our website. Remember that the Smart Shopper is sponsoring this program today, and so our main focus is on this amazing face mask. So we have iPads, we have face masks, depending on that which you want. They go for 200 Bob Kenya shillings. They're all Balea products, as you can see. So yeah, make sure you make your order or call the number 0798-154-042 to get something for yourself. It's that time of the month, and why not reward you for the amazing job that you've been doing. Anyway, without too much of the talking, let's welcome our guest to the studio. Sasa, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm feeling good.
From the last time, how are you feeling today?
Today, I'm more relaxed.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yes. So please tell us who you are and what you do.
So my name is Faith Muhonja. I'm a counseling psychologist by profession, and I'm so happy to be here today.
Yay! A clap for Faith. So Faith, just okay, without kuzunguka sana, just tell us, when it comes to mental health, how can you introduce the stigma that comes with mental health?
I feel like we are living in times when the stigma is not as much as it used to be before, but it's still there. And when we talk about the stigma around mental health, it's simply the negative attitudes and beliefs and stereotypes that surround mental health, because some people still hold some misconceptions about mental health, and we can't blame them because there's that aspect of a lack of awareness that has contributed to it. So it's for us to do more when it comes to raising awareness.
Our awareness, and of course, you know, after the generation that we have now, talking more about mental health, you know. So why is it such a sensitive issue? Why should we talk more about it?
I feel like when we get to sit down and talk about this, more people will feel able to come forward, to step forward. People who are affected by mental health conditions, they will not feel neglected or isolated or discriminated against because of these misconceptions and stereotypes, because you know they are so funny, like the stereotypes and misconceptions. So by us raising awareness and just overcoming this stigma, it will help more people to get the treatment that they deserve and require.
Yes. Oh, that's such a nice explanation. So and you know, Faye is using like the most simple, the most basic English, just so every other person can understand. So talking about the stigma that is surrounding mental health and all that, so how does it impact the individuals who are struggling with it?
As I've said earlier, when people have mental health conditions and there's that aspect of stigma coming from maybe their friends or family, it delays them from seeking treatment. They might end up seeking treatment, but you know, it might be at a later stage, and maybe if they had sought treatment earlier, they would have gotten the treatment that they deserve. So when it comes to stigma, it really delays people from seeking treatment, and most people end up hiding these conditions. You know, I might be your friend and I have maybe, let's say, bipolar, but when I don't want you to know about it because I fear that you might judge me or you might distance yourself from me, and so you see, it doesn't allow people to be themselves, and so they end up not receiving support even from friends and families. So you've talked about myths and misconceptions and stereotypes. Maybe just to mention, what exactly are they? They are the false beliefs that surround issues like mental health. Okay,
so just to talk about the stereotypes and all, what are some of them that contribute so much to the stigma that comes with having mental health issues?
There are people who think that children cannot get mental health conditions, and they only think that it's only adults who are prone to getting these conditions. And so you see, what this does is children who suffer from mental health conditions, they lack the care that they require. And maybe if it would have been addressed at that young age, when they grow up, it will not be something that will be so severe, you see. Another stereotype is thinking that people who get mental health conditions are weaklings. You know, there are people who think that if you get depression, it shows you are a weakling. And so you see, it makes these people not step forward when these symptoms show up. Another stereotype is thinking that it's just a phase. That when someone is going through an episode, it will just pass. They don't have to seek treatment. It will just pass. And you know, another one is, I think, from the religious perspective, they tend to think that people who get mental health conditions are being punished by God, you know, and so if you are a religious person and you are struggling with a mental health condition, you'll not really want other people to know because you fear that stigma.
So now you've mentioned children, and I'm more curious about, you know, the young children getting, you know, mental health issues. So as a parent or as a guardian who's taking care of these children, what are some of the signs that you as a parent should notice so that you're able to help this child before it actually gets worse?
I believe that when it comes to parenting, there's usually no manual. And it's usually like learning on the job. So I would not say that the fact that one child starts doing things at an earlier age than your child, that should not be something to like scare you. But there are signs when we talk about like learning deficits, learning disorders, there is ADHD, you know, whereby you just pick up, is your child struggling, maybe catching up with others in schoolwork, maybe understanding things, you know, are they too hyper? Such things, and then you sit down with a mental health professional and you discuss these things, because the earlier the intervention, the earlier they can be helped.
Interesting guys. So that is Faye Muhonja, and we're talking about the stigma that is surrounding mental health. So make sure that you're sending in your questions, you're giving us feedback. What exactly would you like us to talk about? What are some of the questions that you have? Also, you can SMS us on the number 0798154042. So Faye, let's now talk about population and communities. Are there some communities or populations that are more vulnerable to mental health compared to others?
Yes, yes, definitely. When we look at our society, we can just start with the nearest men. When we look at men, there are some societal norms that, you know, they have made men feel like when they open up or when they are being vulnerable about their feelings and their mental health, they are showing weakness. So that is one group that is really underprivileged when it comes to this. Another group is the LGBTQ, you know. Those people feel like if they step forward with such issues, people will just discriminate them or talk about them. Yes, and another group is people who don't earn as much, low-income earners, because they have a hard time accessing mental health services.
Okay, so talking about low income and, you know, people and the economy that we are in right now, as a mental health expert, what are some of the ways that we can use to help one another, just so we all don't go down at a go?
Yeah, I understand. We are living in tough economic times. So I believe that that is one challenge when it comes to even accessing mental health services. But there are platforms that have been put in place to help such people. There are online platforms, online support groups, which a person can join, any person, and from there they will be able to get help. And there are also, for people who live in rural areas and they're not able to access mental health services, there are online services, like online oh my god it's not coming, online sessions which you can have with your counselor.
So talking about mental health ni one of the services that are way expensive, because for therapy sessions people charge from as high as, okay, the ones I know are ranging from 5,000 and above. So for people who cannot afford and can still not access, you know, the online platforms, because at the end of the day, we are in a digital era, but not everybody has gone digital. So most definitely, bado tuko na watu wanatumia katululu, so they still don't have access to, you know, the online platforms. How are you people coming through for them?
I feel like the government has really stepped in when it comes to this, because nowadays there are even counseling services that are offered beside the physical checkups, you know. You go to the hospital, and after your doctor has seen you, he sends you to a counselor in the next room. So I feel like that has really helped to even make it more accessible to people. And when it comes even to the workplace, most workplaces nowadays have a counselor, a counseling psychologist, so that if an employee is struggling in one way or another, they can be sent for help from the counseling psychologist.
Okay, so talk to us about the strategies and or campaigns that have been effective in reducing the mental health stigma, and of course what individuals and communities are also doing to help the the victims.
So when it comes to the campaigns, there have been educational programs which are usually held nowadays. There have been workshops. I remember there's a time recently when there's a rehab in I think along Jomoko. It's called Stigma. It's held a 3-day workshop where we were just sensitizing people on issues regarding mental health. And such campaigns, such programs have really helped to even equip people with understanding, so that they get to understand what really is this. So there are those educational programs, and there are also public campaigns. I know that you have heard of mental health days, whereby people, they have walks just to raise awareness about mental health. And the media has also played a very crucial role, like what you are doing right now. It's an amazing thing to just see the media stepping up and raising awareness. I've seen programs whereby they even do real life stories on people who have gone through mental health struggles, and it's just making all this look more real, more humane, so that people don't look at it as if it's something that is just for the rich, or something that is just for the white people.
For university students, as many people assume, because nowadays we also have people who are just like, because I'm in university, at the end of the day, having depression or having a mental health issue is something that is normal, which is not, that's not how it's supposed to be. Okay, so guys, we are coming to the end of the first part of it. We are headed on a short commercial break, but I'll see you guys in a few. Remember, we still have a lot of questions to ask, and we also still have Faye in studio, so you can still keep sending in the feedback. While at it, remember to call the number 0798 154 042 to make your order on the amazing products that the Smart Shopper is offering today. They go for 200 bob. We have iPads, we have face mask, we have a lot of items that you'll need just to make you feel beautiful. And these are not just for the ladies only. Also the men, you can, you know, step up and do something about your skin, something about your face. So see you guys in a bit.
Welcome to TAS Media Institute, the home of undiscovered talents. You will be trained by professionals who have a passion in what they do. Do not be left behind. Enroll now and become a pioneer of TAS Media Institute. We are located at Neema Plaza, 2nd floor along Kenyatta Highway in Thika Town. Life can sometimes take unexpected turns, and this family's story is no exception. When a gas explosion completely changed the course of their living, Mr. Joseph Lual and his family have been forced to face unimaginable hardships. But even in this phase of adversity, they have managed to persevere with so much resilience. And as the saying goes, adversity introduces you to yourself. Let's get the story of Mr. Joseph and his family.
So welcome to the first episode of Brain Busters. My name is Mwangi Dominic. Lotko barabara ya MKU. Tunauliza maswali tatanishi.
At TAS Media Institute, we let you discover your talent.
Katika kipindi tunakuletea wasanii.
What's up my guys, I go by the name Reynams.
Eti nikipita kwa macho unanipimia na kama sina pesa unguwezi nipimia hapa Shenster the Poet manze.
Ngoma moto moto.
If you wanna show some love, show some love, but don't fake it. Enda kumenya mawado makuu, nani anadera shire, oh, utani waku.
Vichekesho mkisongaza, mahojiano moto moto, stori za wasanii pamoja na talanta za wasanii.
Muziki wa kasi gani kama wapatikani wakati wa shida.
Na pia kwenye kipindi utabambika, utajijenga, utaelimika, utakuza talanta yako.
My name is Rebecca Mutie, I'm a model and I'm Afri Kenya. I'm a student. Napenda kusikiza kipindi cha Bonga na Katoni kila Jumatatu kuanzia saa 9 mpaka saa 10.
Kumbuka ni kwenye Bonga na Katoni ndani ya TAS TV kuanzia saa 9 hadi saa 10 kila siku ya Jumatatu.
This is Bonga na Katoni in TAS TV. Karibuni.
This is the newest, most exciting entertainment show in town.
Talk about authentic and real conversations,
Fun and educative segments,
trending topics,
celebrity checks,
books and authors,
Q&A.
Join me, Lavin Nyagawa and Hazel Njeru every Tuesdays and Saturdays from 3 to 4 p.m. only on The Unfiltered.
Katika kipindi tunakuletea wasanii.
What's up my guys, I go by the name Reynams.
Eti nikipita kwa macho unanipimia na kama sina pesa unguwezi nipimia hapa Shenster the Poet manze.
Ngoma moto moto.
If you wanna show some love, show some love, but don't fake it. Enda kumenya mawado makuu, nani anadera shire, oh, utani waku.
Vichekesho mkisongaza, mahojiano moto moto, stori za wasanii pamoja na talanta za wasanii.
Muziki wa kasi gani kama wapatikani wakati wa shida.
Na pia kwenye kipindi utabambika, utajijenga, utaelimika, utakuza talanta yako.
My name is Rebecca Mutie, I'm a model and I'm Afri Kenya. I'm a student. Napenda kusikiza kipindi cha Bonga na Katoni kila Jumatatu kuanzia saa 9 mpaka saa 10.
Kumbuka ni kwenye Bonga na Katoni ndani ya TAS TV kuanzia saa 9 hadi saa 10 kila siku ya Jumatatu.
This is Bonga na Katoni in TAS TV. Karibuni. Get informed on what is happening in our political scenes and people who are making headlines in different parts of the country and the world, right here at TAS TV. Join me, LAVIN NYAGOWA, as I bring to you weekly news highlights that are factual every Friday at 4 o'clock. See you then.
Welcome to TAS Media Institute, the home of undiscovered talents. You will be trained by professionals who have a passion in what they do. Do not be left behind. Enroll now and become a pioneer of TAS Media Institute. We are located at Neema Plaza, second floor along Kenyatta Highway in Thika Town.
Life can sometimes take unexpected turns, and this family's story is no exception. When a gas explosion completely changed the course of their living, Mr. Joseph Lual and his family have been forced to face unimaginable hardships. But even in this phase of adversity, they have managed to persevere with so much resilience. And as the saying goes, adversity introduces you to yourself. Let's get the story of Mr. Joseph and his family.
So welcome to the first episode of Brain Busters. My name is Mwangi Dominic. Leo tuko barabara ya MKU, tunauliza maswali tatanishi.
At TAS Media Institute, we let you discover your talent.
Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for choosing TAS TV, for joining us, for being with us. In case you're joining us just now, the topic of the day is stigma surrounding mental health, and we have an expert with us, Faith Muhonja, who's guiding us through this topic and just enlightening us on what should be done. As an expert, anajua zaidi kutuliko. Ours is just to create awareness, and that is our main role as the media.
Yes.
So remember, guys, you can follow us across all social media platforms. That is at TAS TV _KE on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, TAS TV on Facebook, TAS TV official on YouTube, and www.tastv.co.ke on our website. And just to go on, Faye, let's now talk about the employment environment. How can employers and colleagues help to create a conducive environment for a mental health victim?
I believe the first thing is to educate people in the workplace about these issues, so that this is not a topic that is not looked upon. Just raising the awareness even in the workplace, and having bosses or those at the top just setting the pace for this, reaching out to their employees, finding out how they're really doing, making this something that can be talked about even in meetings, just open dialogues on mental health, and having even psychologists, professionals in the mental field who are there so that any employee who is having a challenge can go to them and seek help, you know, without feeling like their things will be put out in the public.
Yes.
Because when it comes to these things, they should be confidential. So if an employee knows that I can go and talk to Councillor Faith and she won't air out my issues to other employees, employees will be more ready and even more willing to have these talks.
Yes.
Yeah, and just helping, you know, the bosses can ensure that the employees are not overwhelmed by workload. Because most times when people are overwhelmed at the workplace, then they end up being more prone to developing some mental health conditions.
Yes.
So just providing a conducive environment of work will really do a lot.
I was listening to something just the other day. I was listening to an interview by one of the big names, of course, in the industry. And one of the things zilikuwa zina come out from that conversation is the fact that we have Gen Zs who are like really, when the bosses want something, of course, when it comes to work, there's so much pressure that comes with it, the pressure to meet deadlines, the pressure to deliver, and sometimes we see Gen Zs Gen Z's wako zile za that environment is toxic, and they resign without even thinking twice about it. What do you have to say about that? Does that come from the aspect where these people, in as much as yes, there's the pressure, but then they don't consider the mental torture that they're also giving somebody, or rather, let me just call it Gen Z?
I feel like we live in a generation whereby most people, most of the ones who were raised in well-to-do families, they are not used to being exposed to pressure, you know, and then they grow up and they start working and they meet bosses who put too much pressure on them. So I think there's the aspect of just finding a compromise, finding a balance. The bosses towards the employees and the employees towards the bosses, because, you know, even for the employers, there are people still at the top who are putting pressure on them. So it's not their desire to put pressure on the employees, but it's because they also want to deliver. Okay. So I believe a balance should be reached.
So that we don't have to, you know, resign just at any time because it's too much. So aside from, you know, what the media is currently doing, what else can they do to make sure that they're challenging the mental health stigma?
I believe the media has so much power. You know, the fact that you can have anyone on your show, Lavin, that is so much power. And so we can use this power, even as the media, to just educate people on issues regarding mental health. The different mental health conditions, because, you know, sometimes we can't just generalize mental health, and we are not breaking it down for the common mwananchi to understand what it is. So if we step back, if we step forward and go the extra mile of having the specifics so that people can understand, it's not always that I'm depressed, you know. Nikika kwa nyumba siku mbili na sikuli, siendi job, I'm not picking calls, hapo ndio niko. Ikikaa sana like for 2 weeks sasa continuous, ndio niko depressed. Because, you know, some people think when you are stressed a bit, actually I'm depressed. Because they don't understand depression.
What exactly depression is.
What depression entails. So if we get to break down this, and, you know, people with bipolar, so that people don't think when a person has bipolar, this person is crazy. You know, just getting to understand what is it about bipolar, what are the two polarities, why do these people keep on having the
fluctuations.
So I think that will really help. Not just generalizing the whole thing, and of course having people who have gone through these things on their platforms, on the social platforms, so that even a small girl in the village going through a similar thing, when she sees another lady who has gone through it, she will have hope. Yeah, she'll feel like if this lady went through the same thing I'm going through and she's now okay, I can also get there.
Yes, and I actually love what people are currently doing on social media. I love what especially Lydia KM is doing on Instagram, on her Instagram lives. There's so much that happens there, and the talks that they have, you know, those are some of the discussions that are so relatable to people nowadays, and in one way or another that is therapy without you realizing you're doing therapy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. So away from that, let's now talk about the consequences. What are some of the consequences of untreated mental health issues?
Yes, so if a person has a mental health condition and they don't seek treatment, there is the aspect of low quality of life, you know. They're not able to move about as they would have done if they were at the right states. There's also the aspect of low productivity, because if a person is, let's say, depressed, they will not really deliver even at the workplace, and it might end up to them maybe losing their job or even resigning, you know, just because they're not okay. There's also the aspect of strain on relationships, you know. People who usually go through mental health conditions, they tend to sometimes withdraw themselves from their families and friends, and you know, it just causes that strain on their relationships. And sometimes they might not really withdraw, but the way they will be relating with these other people will cause friction, just because this person is not okay. Yes.
Okay, so that's such a, you know, a good explanation, turning it down to people understanding what exactly you first need to do as a person before actually coming out to, you know, go seek help from another person. So how can how does stigma contribute to this? To maybe just to put it in a layman's language, how does stigma contribute to an untreated mental health conditions?
Stigma prevents people from stepping forward and seeking the treatment they require, because they feel like they will be judged or they will be discriminated. You know, there are people who usually make some statements which I don't like. You know, if a person keeps on saying that, mimi siwezi kuwa rafiki ya mtu akona bipolar. You see the picture it paints. Even if I have bipolar and you are my friend, I might not go for treatment because I know what that will do to our friendship. You see, so stigma does that. It prevents people from being able to access mental health care from professionals, because they fear the labels and the stereotypes and the misconceptions
that come with it. Okay, so as we conclude, maybe just the final question: how can family and friends help reduce stigma surrounding mental health?
So family can do a lot when it comes to the stigma surrounding mental health. If as a family you get to learn, you get to educate yourself on that mental condition that your family member is going through, it will be easier to understand them from their point of view. For example, Lavin, if I have a sister who has bipolar, and I get to educate myself on what bipolar is, when she has the low moods, I'll not judge her. When she speaks things hurting me, I'll not be offended, because I'll understand that this will pass. This is just something that she's going through. So I'll not even judge her. I'll not be harsh. I'll be understanding. And it comes to promoting empathy, because I'll be more empathetic towards her. So families can educate themselves. Another thing, they can be supportive to their significant people who are suffering from these mental health conditions, because these people require support.
Yes.
They really require support. And if the family can even push them to seeing professionals to help them, that will really help. Because if my family member has a mental health condition and I keep on encouraging her to seek professional help, at the end of the day, she'll get to a point where she will feel, because I have the support of my sister or my mother, let me just do this. So it really goes down to them being supportive and just loving and embracing this person despite what this person is going through.
Yes. So guys, support and love comes a long way in helping our friends, our sisters, our family members, our brothers who are struggling with mental health conditions. And I hope the topic of the day has made you understand or learn something, either one or two things about the stigma that comes with mental health and the impact that it has on each and every person who's struggling with such like conditions. So guys, remember to always share love, be kind, spread the energy, spread good vibes all day, every day, and just so remember to be kind to the next person. Saidia mtu wako. Just don't go around talking, being rude, you know. All these things in a developing they start from the small things that we are having. Sure. Just give us your parting shot.
I think I would love to conclude by saying, at the end of the day, if you're not infected by this, you are affected. Because if you're not the one going through it, it's your family or it's your friend or it's your neighbor. And humanity is about being there for each other, showing love and embracing every other person the same way you'd want to be embraced if you are in the same place. So it's about being less judgmental and just showing up for people. As you have said, kindness goes a long way. You might never know how much a smile means to the other person. You might never know how much a kind word means to the next person. So just be kind. It goes a long way.
It goes a long way. Yes guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode. It has been an amazing time. We've had good vibes, good energy, and just learning something that is beautiful. Thank you so much, Faye, for coming.
Thank you so much.
I look forward to having you again and again and again.
Asante
sana. I hope you don't say no when I reach out again. So yes guys, see you same time, same place next week. God bless you.
This is the newest, most exciting entertainment show in town.
Talk about authentic and real conversations,
fun and educative segments,
trending topics,
celebrity checks,
books and authors,
Q&A.
Join me, Lavin Nyagawa and Hazel Njeru every Tuesdays and Saturdays from 3 to 4 p.m. only on The Unfiltered.